going to be holding it like this. What I want to do is go ahead and I'm going to go in about an inch here, this way, and then I'll go about maybe an inch and a quarter that way. So we'll go the inch in this way, inch and a quarter that way. Basically, I'm going to be getting rid of this spot right here. About the end profile will just like that. Got a 1/4 inch bit. Since I'm going to be running a 1/4 bolt into this piece of wood, I want to go ahead and make sure that I use a 1/4 inch bit. This will keep it nice and secure. Be right at a nice 90 and there'll be no slop, so when I go ahead and use a little fixture, it will work out as planned. And all I'm going to do is go ahead and aim for the middle of the board there and about the middle here in this board. Just like that. Alright, so the idea is I did these holes on the CNC machine to locate them accurately, and then I'm going to thread 1/4 in. I already did these two, so I'm going to go ahead and finish these off. But since this is MDF and it's obviously just sawdust and glue, I'm going to go ahead and use these 1/4 inserts, which I have right here. And the idea is with this particular one, 1/4, I used 11/32 bit. I pre-drilled it, but I want to center this guy. So since this is small and I have a bigger bit, I want to make sure that I'm directly in the middle right here. And it's kind of hard, you know, lining it up perfectly. So what we'll do is, since I drilled these out with 1/8 inch, we'll just go ahead and use an 1/8 inch drill bit, chuck it up in there, then bring it down, make sure it fits. And then once that's good, I'll take it out, then I'll thread the big one in, and then I know I'm exactly where I need to be in the middle. I'm just lining it up, making sure the drill bit goes in there nicely. Sometimes you could just wiggle it just a little bit, make sure it's centered. You go up all the way, clear the material, go back down. If you're not touching, you're directly in the middle, that's good. With the thickness of this, I want to at least go in the material this, but I want to give it a little bit more room just in case my bolt goes through this center right here. So the idea of it is you're going to go ahead and just thread it in like this, 1/4 this, you go in, you have the taps now, and as you go out, see how you can keep going, and that will push on your material, and if you don't go all the way through the material, it actually could strip your threads. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper than what this is. So since I'm at my material pretty much there at 0, I have this little setup here. It's just a depth gauge. Here's my gauge. Bob Saget. I'll go ahead and just stick it right there. And then I'll thread this down. And I know that's about the top. So I'm going to give it some leeway. I feel comfortable about right there. Then I'll lock this one down. And that's all that's to that. So now I know I can go down that depth, and this will end up right there. Okay, I'll show you the setup. Basically, I think this is about a 3.5 inch bolt. Ideally maybe 3. You could even go a little bit smaller. So I have a 1/4 20 3-inch bolt. I have a small washer just because the head is my washer is just a little bit small. So I have a small washer, then a big one. That's going to give me a nice surface so this doesn't dig into my wood. Then on the opposite side, an ideal situation would be is you put another nut here, cinch it there and cinch it tight, and then this thing won't move. And then you put a washer, not a washer, a spring. It's almost like a tension spring that you can buy at Home Depot or one of the hardware stores. You put it right there, and then you thread these two guys on. An idea is you can, when you push up, it compresses, gives you some feedback. We don't need that because I don't have one right now, so I went ahead and just have my 2 nuts here, the 1/4 20 nuts. I have maybe 5/8 inch gap. So the way I gauge that is I just grab one of my inserts, thread it on, make sure you don't strip it, thread it on, and then you just don't want this bolt to extend past this point. Once that's done, I already have a couple made. We'll go for this one. You just push it all the way up, get it to where you want it, like that. I got a 7/16 socket with a nut driver that attaches for a drill, so it's pretty convenient. And then you want to keep pressure here, and you want to go down, and it will drive that down. All right, so pressure down, use here. Pull it out. As you can see, that one's pretty good. Okay, don't worry. Obviously this one sucks because I didn't go deep enough. I didn't drill deep enough, so it's actually above the material. I can easily just sand that away and it will be fine. But ideally you want it flush, so that one like worked incredible. So I know that's the right distance that I need. So I'll go ahead and drill these. So I'll do one more. Let me drill it out a little deeper. And the whole point of this is when you go in there and you're at an angle, when you go to try and attach something, your bolt's going to be at an angle. We don't want that. So screw it back in, bottom it out, put it where you want it. That looks good. Make sure it's centered, looks like it is, and then drive it home. Just like that. These ones worked excellent. I'll go ahead and drill these other 3 and we're done. So there you go. This thickness right here is 2.5 inches. This length is whatever. Like I said, I just use my hands. Right here, this notch is 1 inch inboard and then 1.25 inches going up. Meet that, cut that out, and there's your little jig.